Hi.
Hi, how are you doing, Shiny?
I'm okay. You're a bit shiny too.
I know, I love having a bit of shine.
I'm not sure if it's nice or if it just, it kind of looks like I've got a glow. I'm just going to go with that.
I know, but I mean, look at my under eyes though. Like I can see myself starting to get that kind of like, do I need filler?
No, I understand that though. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. This is what happens when you get two besties on a show and we just talk about
we just shoot the shit
vagina stuff.
I didn't. Okay, all right.
Women stuff. I'm being okay. Wow. Okay. Well, on that note, welcome to Getting Jewcy. We've already said that.
Yes.
I'm Rachel. This is Hero. Apparently. And just before we forget to let y'all know, the spiel of please follow us on @getting_juicy on Instagram. That's kind of our jam. Instagram is kind of our social jam. We do the Facebook, I'm not that old. But Insta is kind of where we're at. You can also buy us a coffee, which helps to support our podcast to juice us up. Mm-hmm. So it's just buy me a coffee /Getting Jewcy. And we're on YouTube as well. So Getting Jewcy with Rachel and Hero. And that's also where you get to see this. So if you're listening to this on all your amazing podcast platforms, you can also see these punums as well. That's your Yiddish education for today. Punum.
That's good, because you know what people might think that might sound like?
What?
Pussy.
No, what the heck? That was my fault for saying vagina already. So I love how spicy we are today, because we have a very spicy individual coming on the podcast with their partner. Is that correct?
Yes,
they're coming on together.
Correct. They're coming on together, and it's their first time doing a dual interview.
Okay, please, you do the introduction because you've had more correspondence. I've had a bit, but go.
Okay. Oh my God,
time to shine.
The pressure. Oh
go.
My God. I'm already shining. So okay, all right. So our guestesses today are Jimbo the Drag Clown
with breastises.
Guestesses with breastises, and thank you, Megan Trainor. And then also we have Jimbo's partner and man behind the queen, and I would say everything extraordinaire, Brady Taylor. And so Rachel and I have been trying to connect with Jimbo for a little while now. And Jimbo is the original Canada's Drag Race season 1 finalist, season 4, and also the alumni now that I'm thinking, oh yeah, the show is completed. The alumni of RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the world. So Jimbo has glowed up phenomenally and incredibly, and was doing drag before Drag Race, of course, but that's how a lot of people have learned about Jimbo in this day and age. Brady and Jimbo hail from Victoria, BC, so just across the water from Vancouver and near enough Vernon.
Okay, now we're just throwing information that is not relevant and it doesn't matter.
Fair enough. So they're both very talented. They've been in the UK touring around the country, doing meets and greets, performances, drag bingo. They've been doing tons of stuff that is just wild, living the dream and taking full advantage of, what it's like to be on a show and they get global fame from all of the community, both gay, queer, LGBT, everything, drag. And it's really amazing to have these two people on the show. Brady has been super supportive in our podcast, and Jimbo as well. And yeah, they should be joining us in a little bit, probably in the next 2 minutes. So
yeah, and they're actually joining us from the UK. So they're currently now. Are they in London? We'll have to ask. I feel like they might not be in London specifically.
Yeah, I don't think they're in London right now. I think they're always hopping around. Every time I look at their story, they're tagging a different part of London that has some kind of Shire or England. Or whatever. Yeah. So
they're just like, they are really living the dream. I have to ask when Jimbo comes on. I'll just leave it because I don't know if you've seen, there's a more recent interview. Oh my God, I forget which queen it was. A UK queen
Yeah.
Tia something.
Tia Coffee?
Did an interview with Jimbo. And
Oh,
it was
wow.
fucking hilarious because
Oh, wow.
Tia's trying to be all serious and she's got these questions lined up that she really wants to ask, and she's doing a great job and all that kind of stuff. But then you can see they're on the cruise ship, because they were on a cruise too recently,
Yes.
Jimbo and
Yes.
Brady. And then you just see like a half naked Brady on the corner, and then he's like crawling behind the camera, but you can see just his back kind of trying not to be in. But Tia's not even, she's just kind of like, doesn't really acknowledge it. And then Jimbo's just like, yeah, that's my, what does she say? Like, that's my cabana boy or my pool boy or something. But she's trying, like, Jimbo was trying to make light of the conversation. It was really, and it was hilarious. But I love Tia was just like, her was just so straight faced.
Oh, that's so amazing. That's amazing.
Oh my goodness. So I guess what that probably we can elaborate on that is just the fun that Jimbo has and doesn't take herself super seriously, which is kind of what I get from her. And that's what I think I love too. And I really want to know all about, obviously the man behind the queen or the clown too with Brady, but their business on the island. So Vancouver Island is where they actually live. Vancouver Island's huge. If you don't know what that, you can say like, oh, island, it's a small little dinky island. No, it's just off the coast of Vancouver. Pretty big. But they have a business. I think, are they both in costume design, or?
I think Jimbo is definitely background in costume design, and Brady is a wig stylist, so has a lot of experience with so hair artistry. Yeah.
Just so like the creative backbone. I'm so, you know what? This is the second podcast I've tried to say alliterations and I can't say them. I think I forget what I said last time, but I couldn't say anyway. Backbone. They have very creative backbones, both of them, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like we said, they'll be joining us from the UK. So honestly, y'all, they're just coming off of like doing a meet and greet. So this could be quite interesting. Just because they're just running like two chickens with their heads cut off. And in a sense, they're just being pulled, I'm assuming, from all different directions, just wanting
they are. Every day, exposure, like every day, every night is a show, performance, a meet and greet, like bingo, like drag bingo, which is a part of the drag culture as well. And it's amazing. Like I've kept saying to Brady, just keep sipping that and enjoying it and being in the moment and building. This is your time. This is both of yours time to take the opportunities to grow, to develop your careers, and also to build your community. And I think that's partially that is what you do. I mean, there are lots of queens on Drag Race franchises that have a great following and that still do press and media, and tons of different things are constantly getting booked for events in their local cities or asked to go on tour. But I think there are obviously certain people that just have a presence, have a personality, or they catch an algorithm of some kind that just propels them and gets into that. Like even just in terms of followership, when Jimbo came on to Drag Race versus the World, UK versus the World, their following was around 310,000, right? And now it's almost at 400,000 followers within almost 6 to 7 weeks. Wow. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Wow, it is incredible. Yeah, but you're right about like seizing the moment, seizing the success. I mean, without letting it get to your head. I don't think that's really what we're saying, but it's more just, take advantage of these moments, because also in the entertainment industry, and Jimbo's, she's an entertainer, she's an artist. Those blips are not to say that she's not going to stay on the top for years to come. I'm sure she will, but there will be those ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. Like the entertainment industry very much is like that. I mean, I don't remember which actress, really famous person I was watching on a talk show. Like think of, I don't know, like who was maybe Sandra Bullock. I don't know. It was somebody, but basically they're just like, you know what? It never really ends. That kind of feeling of it could all be over tomorrow. In that industry, it's like I was someone super like famous. They're just kind of saying how they question almost how every job, this could be my last job. This could be my last job. Oh, this could be my last job. So, that's something not to say again, you should focus on that, but it's just interesting. These people in that industry, just knowing how fickle it can be. And
it can be. And what I'm almost wondering, although, as well, is that with drag, I mean, drag can be done in so many different ways. Same thing with being an actor or a singer. I think that with drag, as long as your presence is there, people are aware of what you are established for, what you've done. I think maybe drag can have a longer career span simply due to the fact that drag can be singing, it can be lip syncing, it can be dancing, it can be comedy, it can be political too. Even if you're not doing a performance, you can still be in the activism of your community. There are different things you can dive into.
That's true. And also it's a bit different when you are that role model for the LGBTQ plus community, because that kind of works in a whole different way, you know. But with that being said, I mean, there's always like, okay, well, where's the next queen? Okay, like, you're hot now, like, where's the, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but
well, no, you're right. But I think that's also another point to my comment about the longevity of being in a career of drag, is that if you are a drag mother and you have drag children or things like that, and you give birth to your daughters, then you also take the role of being a mentor, being a voice for the next generation. That's true too. So even though with actors, you could do the same thing, with singers, you could do the same thing. And there's a similar sense of mentorship, a sense of coaching or judging or evaluating. And then some of those people go on shows like The Voice or American Idol, or So You Think You Can Dance, or anything like that. Like, there's different ways to spin your expertise, even if you're not doing the actual modality yourself anymore. There are so many ways to still say, I've got this much experience in history and this artwork and culture, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you have another 20 years of your career, and you're maybe in your 70s, your 80s, if you really wanted to be.
Now I think that's a thing, especially even with actors. But I feel like for so long, especially with women, it was like, okay, you've hit 40. Yeah, okay, you're too old.
I know.
Right? Which is not, I don't think it's as much the case anymore, for sure.
Nope.
Because you're seeing like Helen Mirren, and even like Meryl Streep. I mean, she's pushing 70, I think. And she's just rocks it. Like, there's so many older, fierce, gorgeous women. It's great. Like, even Courtney Cox is making a comeback. I mean, mind you, I don't think she's quite 60, but yikes, lady. Have you seen her face? Sorry.
No, I haven't seen her face, but I've seen Martha Stewart's face.
Sorry, Courtney. It's just, you're so beautiful. Like, why some things like, but Martha Stewart, okay, really?
Well, yeah, if you look, I don't know when it was, maybe a year ago.
Weird. This is really funny conversation.
No, but like, you think about like a year ago, if you look
at
Martha Stewart,
I mean,
look her up. If you look at her facelift, you just look at her cheekbones.
She's 80, dude. She's what? 80. She's 80.
What? No.
Yes.
What the hell?
Yes.
He's also
my voice went up then now, like a million octaves.
Yeah, you just went into drag voice. Yeah, I know. You pulled a hero.
That just is shocking to me. I didn't realize she was 80. Well,
I did not
good
either.
For 80. Come on. I mean, because she's had some work done, but wow.
I know. And Madonna as well. Think about Madonna. Like, when I see Madonna's Instagram and the photos that Madonna puts up, and I'm like, I'm sorry, that actually looks really, really good. It doesn't look like she's had like
it doesn't.
When I've seen her photos, and I'm like, you look like you're like
creepy.
20. You look like you're 20.
But I think she's a bit creepy. I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like a lot of these women, mind you, I get it. And Brady, this is how candid we are. Brady just messaged our account. Things are running a bit long here. I'll check in as soon as we can.
Right. Yeah.
We're on recording and schmoozing with each other, not snoozing. And schmoozing. I can't even spell. Okay, that's funny.
That is very funny.
So that's very interesting.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, okay, I can't believe I'm going to ask this question, but we are on the topic. Kind of like the
Okay.
chat, kind of like our last episode where we talked about chat roulette. If for some reason someone would say, "Hey, I'm a professional, immaculate, flawless plastic surgeon,
Yeah.
and I want to gift you something, whatever you wish for it to be, to enhance or to refine your from the neck up." Is there something you would choose, or is the answer is no? I love my body. I love my face. I would not edit or alter anything.
That's a good question. And I was funny because I was about to say, and people who are listening to this still, thank you, because Jimbo's obviously not on yet. So bless your beautiful hearts. And I was just gonna say we were almost gonna pause this, or I was be like, okay, we'll just pick this up in a moment when they come on. But you just asked me this very juicy question. Feel like ask me again in 10 years, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like, but with
so
that being said,
when you're 30, you mean?
When I'm 30, ask me. When I'm 30, ask me again. Yes. But with that being said, this isn't really like plastic surgery to necessarily enhance or change something. I just wish, and I'm using this awesome Zoom. It helps with like actually smooth out your skin. I just wish that I can get it away from my adult acne. That's but that's not really like what you asked necessarily. That's something that pisses me off that I've been working on for a while. But another thing, I've always wanted bigger boobs, just to like, even just for like a day or two, just to see what it feels like. Although so many people, even women, they're like, you're so lucky that you don't have massive tits. And we'll talk to Jimbo about this.
I was just gonna say, Jimbo can lend you a pair.
Yeah, because of the weight of them, right? Yep. And the back issues, like there's certain things, and then when you get older, they sag. I mean, it's just all reality. I mean, okay, but you can get plastic surgery for that too.
I wonder if men with big bull testicles have issues with their lower back and their scrotum, because I don't know what that feels like.
No, I'm just like, I like how I stop for a second. I'm just like imagining myself with big ding dongs between my legs. Like, how would you, not ding dongs, a ding dong would be a penis.
It's called a penis.
I meant.
Go on.
Wow. And we call ourselves a mental health podcast now.
Sexual health, it's part of mental health.
Right, but I just realized I know nothing we've really been talking about is to do with mental health, but especially like when we're talking about what would you like to change about your body.
Yeah,
I mean, actually, and on all seriousness, to bring it to mental health for a second, I mean, I actually feel there's just such a, I mean, I'm sure there's books written about this, psychology behind why people feel the need to stay youthful and not show their age as they grow older. Like, get rid of all the wrinkles, get rid of everything. Do not show that sign of age. I mean, it's so mental. Yeah. Not mental isn't crazy. It's mental. It's neurological. Like, I mean, so I think that sometimes when I think about, might change this and that, then I kind of get sad because then I kind of feel like that means I'm not happy with myself.
Right.
And that makes me sad.
That's a good point, actually. That's a really fair statement, though.
And then it makes me feel like when I look at someone like Courtney Cox, and I just saw her on an interview recently, and looking at her now kind of makes me sad. So I feel like, what do you see? Like, what, it's because you seem, anyway. So
it kind of tarnishes a little bit too, and I think about the vanity aspect too, in terms of, I can understand people that want to shift something, like if they were born with something, maybe like a nose that might have been crooked, or something that just, in terms of the bone structure, maybe wasn't what they wanted. And so they want to get a nose job to make it more smooth or more symmetrical with their face. I don't necessarily know if that would fall in the line of being vain, or more in the fact of, I've always known I have a beautiful face, but there's just been one part that could be different.
Right.
And so getting a simple scraping a bone off of like the nose or whatever, like, who knows, right?
Yeah. Okay, can I flip the question on to you? I know we kind of got somber there, but it's
no, absolutely. Are we doing just from here up, or we're doing the entire body, just so I'm aware?
Good question. Entire body.
I want a bigger dick.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. I shouldn't tell you to shut up because maybe you're serious.
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
No, I want a bigger dick.
Okay. You realize that you might have just told everyone out there now that you have a small penis.
Not necessarily.
Do you care? That's true. Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
No, not necessarily. But I think
your voice went high again.
Yeah.
Is this like Pinocchio? Is that? I actually really like this conversation. We're kind of on a roll. Is this like Pinocchio? Fuck, Rachel.
You mean
not Pinocchio?
So you mean like every time we lie that our tits or our dicks get bigger? No? Am I wrong?
No, you're wrong. Every time that you lie, your voice goes up. Because your voice went up a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I think it is. I think it is a signal, but it could also just be for show.
Are you a shower or a grower? Okay. Wow. Wow. This is what happens when you patiently await your guest.
Grower. You really snuck that one in there. The password is and over to you, Betty White.
I love Betty White. Okay, wow, we're on. I started to watch reruns. Of course, they're all reruns.
I sure hope so. Otherwise, it's gonna be like the Ottacuckers.
The what?
The Ottacuckers, the old farts.
Oh yeah. But I actually started from the beginning, like watching Golden Girls, because when it came out, I mean, was I even alive yet? I'll just say I wasn't even alive yet, but I probably was. I don't remember watching it because I was so little, right?
Yeah.
But watching it now, I'm like, you know what? Because I know how trendy it's become again in younger generations, especially it seems like in the LGBTQ plus community. Is that correct?
I've seen so.
Yeah, I don't know.
But why. I'm a bad Jew, but in some ways I'm even a worse gay because I have only seen the first couple episodes of Golden Girls. I've not seen it on repeat.
I've only seen the first few episodes now too, but I was like, this shit is actually funny. Like, it's funny.
Oh yeah, very
and witty. So. And for the time when it came out, where in the 80s and even in the 90s, when you couldn't really say anything explicitly,
that's right.
Everything was alluded to certain innuendos and stuff, but it was smart. And oh my god, anyway,
it's very true,
little tangent there. Yeah,
but also bringing it back to the idea of like Drag Race, the idea of reality shows where now nothing is explicit. Nothing. It's like the innuendos are not even necessary. Yeah, it's not because you're trying to elude something that you might feel will get censored or will cancel you. Yeah. It's just like, if you want to say something, you say it. You say it. And that is what is so amazing about our culture today, is almost like say whatever you want, but then at the same time, be careful what you say.
Yeah, because you might get canceled.
Grower.
I have to pee.
I love it. Go pee.
We're going to pause this for a second and I'll be back. So you can play the do. That's Elijah Genie. I don't know. That's my hold music.
Amazing. Okay. All right. We will do that.
Pause. From the bathroom.
Oh my god, hello. How's it going? Did you say we're back from the back door?
From the bathroom.
Oh, from the bathroom.
Because I went to the bathroom and right, and now we're back on. Yeah,
got it.
Because that wow, we'll talk about that another time.
Totally.
That bathroom. Oh,
hello, boys. Hello.
How are you rested?
I doubt it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how it all works. Yeah, we rest in 5 minutes. increments all the time.
Yeah.
Jesus, no wonder you look so preserved in a good way. You're gonna live for ages.
You probably heard me as it was going on. I looked and I was like, oh God, I look really tired.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, it was more just because now, Jimbo, can we say Jimbo or James? And we're already recording, so it's whatever you prefer.
I go by Jimbo, yeah, all the time.
Perfect.
Amazing. Well, glad to see both of you boys are rested-ish and arrived safe in your current destination. Hope you're doing okay so far.
Yeah, we rode the train all day. We rode it right across the country from up in
Oh my gosh.
Sort of northeast side of a continent or island.
The island.
The island. That's amazing.
Yeah, we're in Cardiff.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Cardiff. Wonderful. How's it been so far? I know it's a little question, but I can imagine it's been quite the journey that you're just living and appreciating and taking in everything that you can get while you have it.
Yeah, it's been so much fun just on tour with club kids, and Brady's with me. We're traveling all around doing shows.
Yeah.
Brady's taking care of me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and helping me get dressed and ready for the tour.
Aw.
Gluing stuff to him all the time.
Yeah, lots of gluing things on
like
me.
dressing him and undressing him. Yeah.
Well, and also being the cabana boy or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I saw a video with Jimbo, and I saw a half naked Brady scurrying around in the background, and I'm like, that was such a funny with Tia, and it was so, I thought it was hilarious, it was so funny, but boy, does she try to keep a straight face like the whole time. Like, girl, seriously, like there's some funny shit going on here.
I know. I think she was thinking like she's just on some sort of like serious like morning talk show or something, where she was like, I'm a real girl and I have to answer your questions. Like my life depends on it. So I know. I was like, lighten up, loosen up. But she was, I liked it. It was a really funny interview.
That's so funny, yeah, because we were on the cruise then, and we were Joe was doing his exit interviews, and there was only one plug in the whole place. So for the ring light, and it was right in the middle of the room. So it was like,
oh my gosh,
tried to kind of pick a side every time he went into an interview. I'm gonna be over here. I'm gonna be over here.
Yeah.
And then, but I can't remember what it was, but I had to go. And then I was like, oh, if I go really low, no one will see me with the camera angle. But so everyone's on me. And actually, still the other day, someone said to you, "Was that you crawling around?" And I'm like, I've heard about that a lot.
I'm sure. But it was great. It was great.
And about Tia trying to keep a straight face while this is all going down.
Totally.
Enormous breasts and
totally. You know, Jimbo, I don't think you're going to be the only one with gifts on Instagram coming. I think Brady's going to get a few of his own in the future, it seems like, from those memories.
Just going around as a little manservant. Yeah,
totally.
I love it.
So
go ahead, Hero. Sorry,
okay.
we're Jewish and we speak a lot. We speak over each other. We just do that. So apologies.
We schwitz and we kvetch all the time. So that's kind of how we roll.
We could be British too. The Brits are just saying it's like funny because they have no problem charging in on any conversation. Their friends are having. They're like, you're done.
No, it's so true. Same with the Aussies in my experience. But we did a bit of an introduction to the two of you a little bit. And so we always love to open up our conversation with our guests if they would like to introduce themselves, and especially if things we might have missed or didn't pick up on. Feel welcome to just give a little brief introduction about who you are, where you come from, and what you're doing. And then we can kind of dive in from there.
Great. Well, I'm Jimbo, and I'm a Canadian drag queen known for my appearances on Canada's Drag Race and UK versus the World.
Yes.
Great.
My name's Brady. I'm Jimbo's partner. I'm now these days, my main job is supporting Jimbo, handling Jimbo, is what I say. Two kids. I've got a daughter who's 15, who's called Cassandra, and a son who's 13, who's called Alex. Two little kittens, and we live in Victoria.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Awesome. Now, is this, maybe this is not true, but is it one of the first interviews you guys have done together?
Yeah. This is the first interview.
This is the first we've done together. Yeah, we've done our own independent things. Yeah, obviously Jimbo has, but
no.
I got a few out there. I got a few coming. So, this is the first time together.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really
amazing.
cool.
And thank you for letting us, pop the cherry in a sense with that. And it's great, we always find that it's great to get to know our guests and our alumni once they've been on the show behind the mask, really, about who they are, what they do, and where they come from. And people get asked tons of questions all the time that are very, not in a bad way, but very repetitive. It's kind of like it's scripted, what might be coming. And with our kind of shtick is we want to get to know just who you are as human beings, right? we could ask you stuff about Drag Race, we can ask you stuff about productions and stuff, but it's not that we don't care about that, but like, if we want that information, we can find it. What we want to learn about is just who you are every day, right? And just how you got to where you are. And I think that's a really different way of how to get to know people. And so that's why we wanted to have you on the show and just have a nice casual chat.
Thanks. Well, thanks for your patience as we sorted out how to finally connect past 2 meetings. So I apologize for that.
Last night it would have been an absolute nightmare because we were in that because that music started. I was like, oh, this is definitely not happening tonight, because it was like the whole building was like this old building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Oh my God. I've stayed at a place like that before in Portland, actually. Have you heard of the McMinimans? Okay, there's like they convert old structures, like old schoolhouses from like
we did.
Coming back. Jane recommended that place.
Yeah, they're so fun. So anyway, one of them was like the oldest bar in all of Portland, but it was you stay. I mean, now I'm just like, oh, communal bathrooms, like no, thank you. But at the time, it was you stay. There's like 8 rooms at the top above this club, but they put earplugs, fresh earplugs, of course, in. The bed, like beside the bed in every room, because they know as soon as it hits that whatever o'clock is just so freaking loud. So anyway, it's how is, I guess we'll just dive right in here. What is this like? Is this the first time traveling together with promoting Jimbo and being no. Okay.
We've done this a few times. I'd say that probably the first time we toured together was last summer, like after the Drag Race.
Probably, I can't remember. I have a really bad memory and everything blurs together. I live in the moment, and I ask B to remind me of what's happening.
But actually, as we've been on this tour too, I've definitely realized that when you're not remembering things too, because it does all blur together a little bit, because you're like, I'm thinking about the hotel, I can think about what that specific room looks like, where was that, and the club that goes with it,
it's all
and it all just kind of starts to because you become like not day focused or time focused, you're like sort of where do I need to be right now, right?
Totally.
Yes.
Tomorrow is
totally,
and then it's like not Monday or Tuesday. I know I just looked at it, I was like, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? It's Tuesday.
Absolutely. But I can also imagine, though, with that being said, I mean, for both of you, you're both in the same schedule, you're both in the same planning, the same scheduling and things as well. And Jimbo, you're on the stage, quote unquote, like you're actually in that moment. And Brady, you're right there. So I can imagine both of your brains are super loaded with keeping things on track, making sure we're where we need to supposed to be. And so I'm kind of curious to dive into kind of the brains of both of you, because it's clear that you have very complementary ways of thinking and feeling and showing up in the world. So I want to take this back, actually. How did you two meet? When did you two meet?
We met on, we worked near each other in Victoria, and I passed him while he was sitting on a bench at outside of his office, and we made eye contact and just really just each other, and I was like, wow, he's so handsome, he's so sexy. I wonder who that was. And I only saw him one other time on that bench, and then just disappeared because I guess his office moved. And then it wasn't until a little bit later, like a year or two later, he came to my New Year's party at my place, and we reconnected, and, started a friendship, and then it became a partnership.
Oh man.
Michael Jackson that night, he'd been performing in a cabaret, Atomic Vaudeville's cabaret. He was dressed as the white Michael Jackson.
not blackface, not blackface.
Not blackface.
Thriller Michael Jackson. Zombie Michael.
It was zombie Michael. Yeah.
That's amazing. So is there?
Yeah, and like I said, we connected, instantly once we'd actually knew each other. Someone asked me last night what the first word that you said to me was on that night. I thought about it for a second, and that it was probably welcome.
Yeah, probably.
It would probably welcome. That's a very cool introduction for us at Chinatown. Like, what's your name? And then be welcome would be the.
Yeah, we love our studio in Victoria.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lots of good questions people have given us over here too, over our travels.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I bet.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, no. So with that being said, though, I know, as Brady, you were saying, you are a parent as well. So did that relationship with your children start with the previous partner, or did the two of you have your children together and raise them together?
No, my kids. I was married to my ex-partner Doug. We were together for about 14 years, and we adopted babies. Yeah. We had done all the paperwork and put it out in the universe and thought, maybe someone will pick us, maybe not. And quite quickly, actually, we got a phone call from our adoption agency that said, you've been picked by this birth mom. And that was on a Tuesday. And they said, you can come and meet her on the Wednesday. And
Wow.
baby's due to be born on Thursday.
Holy crap.
We were living in Vancouver then, and this
Yeah.
was Victoria. So we basically dropped everything and went to Victoria and met this woman.
Wow.
Said, yeah, we kind of got along, as much as you can when you're meeting this pregnant woman who's like, you could have this baby.
She's gonna pop out like any second now. So.
Yeah, but with the contract in hand.
And then we left the hospital with a 5-hour-old baby on that Thursday, like walking out, looking behind us, like, are you really letting us just take this baby?
Whoa.
Yeah. And that was Cassandra. And then when Cassandra was about 1 year old, our birth mom got back together with her birth dad for a hot second, and she got pregnant again. So she phoned and she said, I'm pregnant with another baby, and that they share the same father, and I'd like them to be together if you're into it. And,
Wow.
yeah. So that was Alexander. Yeah. So we had a little more notice for Alex. We spent 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
Get
Just
used
a
to
little bit of.
Yeah.
That's
Cassandra, yeah. So all of a sudden there we were like 2 mid-30s guys, but 2 babies, and we only had like a pickup truck and no things at all. And yeah, so it was a very interesting time for sure.
But your mom's was helpful.
My mom was, yeah, she was, yeah, my mom was very helpful, definitely.
That's good. Shout out to mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need a good grandma if you're going to raise kids. Yeah, very close by.
Absolutely. I feel like that's kind of a rare story. I've not heard that before with a surrogate who's like, okay, I'm gonna have another one, and I want. Sorry.
Yeah, adoption. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. No, that's.
Yeah. No. It's
that's amazing.
So as Worker said, you see lots of birth moms that have multiple babies with different guys that.
Yes.
Adoption plans for their children, but not something that played out quite like how that did. Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. No, and I know I've heard Jimbo speak in other interviews about the children, because it's like, you guys, you're all one big happy family, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. So how was that kind of, and again, if you don't want to answer any of these questions, you guys be like, pass, nah, it's just, maybe too personal. But how was that, Jimbo, for you, kind of diving into like a ready-made family almost? I mean, that's pretty, it's a lot, but.
My sister Jennifer, my older sister growing up, she had her daughter at a young age. So when I was like in my young teens, I had a little baby around, my little niece Brittany, and then my sister Rebecca, my older sister, I took care of her 2 children, Eric and Sasha, from when I was in my early 20s until I was about 25. And so I took care of them from babies until they were, little toddlers, little boys. So I was already really accustomed to being with kids and taking care of kids, and I love kids and their sense of humor and their sense of play, and so when I met Brady and the kids, I fell in love. I loved them, and I still really obviously love them. They're just amazing little teenagers now, and just discovering who they are in the world, and it's really, really cool. I'm really excited to have them in my life, and I'm really grateful.
Those kids are lucky. Honestly.
And but also to be surrounded by such love and also unconventional lifestyles and creative individuals that can be role models for those generations to come, especially in a generation of Gen Z and Gen Alpha, all those kids that are coming up now that might have similar thought patterns or beliefs that maybe some of us might have in millennials or Gen Y, but then to see these next generations are really able to take action in some ways that maybe we didn't feel comfortable doing or didn't have the resources to do, now that they have that. So you get to be the leader and empower these kids to be like, you are your own people. And here are the resources that we have helped create that you can utilize. I think that's actually really a gift.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I look around too and I think, oh God, all these gay guys raising these kids. It's like, where's this going?
Right.
No. How have they adapted is the right word, to Jimbo, and with the fame that's coming all of a sudden? Like, are they, when they're at school, are they, do people bug them about it? Not bug them in a bad way, but just even bring it up, or how does it kind of play in their life?
I think like,
are they
kind of like, you don't want a lot of attention on your home life, your family, as
true.
a teen, you kind of want to appear like you somehow take care of yourself in this world. And so they don't really like talking about family or parents. And so like a lot of Cassandra's friends are fans of mine, and they love Drag Race, and they're really excited when they find out, and more of them are finding out. But
it's been one of her best kept secrets for a while.
They both.
I don't even think Alexander's watched it, apart from like the moments where we've made him, we're like, like in support of Jimbo, please watch this moment. This is, gone viral. This is like a really important thing that you understand. But yeah, he's not interested.
Yeah, he's very like sporty
video.
He's loves like other stuff than drag. So
fair. But, how old are they again? You said Cassandra
she's
15. Okay. Yeah, those are awkward ages.
A lot of $20 bills, a lot of rides. A lot of closed doors. Friends. It's entertaining. We're very fortunate too, because my ex-partner Doug, their other dad, he's a fantastic guy, and he stepped in this year and seen the opportunities that are available to me to work and to travel at Jimbo and to build my own presence, my own career out there. And so he's had them pretty steadily since the fall, even here and there for a few weeks here and there, but he's really stepped up, and because they are at an age where I always like to say that cake has been mixed and it's been baking for a while, and sort of at that time where it's like, how's it going to turn out, right? So a lot of that love and that input, of course it's still ongoing, but a lot of that sort of the heavy thing is done, and they're busy with their friends and doing their things, and so the parenting is more in a sort of like supervisory role, making sure things are that people are getting to school, and nobody's smoking, and $20 bills.
Definitely. And that was going to be my next question, is how are they being taken care for? Even if they might be their own individuals, they're still at a place in their life where they might need some guidance or a home to be in. They can't just, maybe some people can, which is great. Power to you if it feels right. But that's what I was wondering. So that's great that they have that kind of support, and they also have you over there as well, and the two of you doing your thing, and that there's that support. Because again, as Rachel said, that's actually, maybe it's common in some realities, but to me, that doesn't sound very common.
I think it's so cool.
We're definitely still and watching very closely.
Absolutely.
Think about yourself at 15. This is what I keep thinking. I think, oh my God, I remember being 15.
Oh God.
Me too.
Me too. It was not a good time.
No, it was very awkward. Interestingly enough though, my parents were musical theater performers when I grew up. And so there was a lot of colorful people coming in and out of the home. And my uncle actually was the director of the National Ballet Company of Canada for a number of years. So when I was like tiny, it was like, well, I've got a gay uncle, but I didn't know, like my uncles stay in the same bedroom, and that's just how it goes. Like I didn't really know what gay was. It wasn't really a term in my vocabulary, right? My point is that I remember being a teenager, and my dad would he would dress up as like a belly dancer, a female belly dancer, shave his legs, do the whole freaking thing as a gag for my uncle's birthday, like his 50th birthday, or those are the kinds of things that happen.
And this was normalized for you too. You're like,
and this is normal. Like
that's just how dad dresses for his
birthday. Exactly.
And
it was the funny. And the funny thing is, like, I don't really remember being made fun of for that. Really, it was just like, Rachel's parents, they're like, they're actors, they're performers. It's just what happens.
Right. That's just how that is over there.
It's just how it is.
Totally, totally. Whereas I grew up, with a stay-at-home mom who's an artist, and my dad's a lawyer, so very different upbringing from Rachel in terms of exposure and culture and surroundings. But that's what's really beautiful about, as we grow up and as we learn about our surroundings and our behaviors and our cultures, we have an impact on how we show up in the world when we become older, in the way that we do show up in the world. And so I'm also really curious about, because Brady, you mentioned that, are you from Vancouver originally? And Jimbo, are you from Victoria originally?
I'm from Victoria. I was born and raised in Victoria until I was
okay.
I was in Vancouver for about 20 years. And then now I've been back in Victoria for about 15.
Yeah.
Got it.
Ontario, just outside of Toronto and London, Ontario.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Toronto, sorry.
Yeah.
So how did you end up coming to Victoria? I'm wondering. What brought you there?
I had friends my friend Carolyn toured through when I worked in Waterloo at my friend's bar, and I met touring band Hank and Lily and fell in love with the guitarist Hank, and to be with him. And I was with Hank for about 7 years before I was with Brady, and so we had we're still really good friends, and he's a huge fan, and so
that's
actually
fantastic.
the one that started to call me Jimbo actually out west, and that's sort of where that name stuck. It was a childhood nickname from my dad, and then a nickname brought back by my friend Hank.
I did hear the origin story of your name, which is I don't know if a lot of people ask, you're like, is it from The Simpsons? Is it from like has anyone ever asked you that?
No one really asks. They don't know.
No?
Like, good Jimbo, they're just down for it. And then every now and again someone asks where's it come from, but most of the time people just don't ask. Just like,
that's because they're so distracted. Right? That's why. People don't do that to me, but sorry, go ahead.
Me neither.
A lot of people want to default to call you James again because they are assuming that Jimbo is your stage name, and that you have this secret persona that's hiding behind Jimbo. But so I was kind of surprised to find out that I'm Jimbo.
Yeah, very much so.
We can also tell people from your younger life too when you are addressed by James.
People
as James
know me from high school and things, and my youth are like James.
Okay. I apologize that I asked that in the beginning then, because this all makes so much more sense now.
And so in terms of
just Jimbo.
right. So, and again, because we're talking to the two of you, I'm curious to know more about, and what you're comfortable sharing, kind of like what were your earlier years like your formative years in childhood or even adolescence, kind of what inspired you to where you are and how you got to where you are today? What were some of those building blocks or key standouts? You're like, this kind of led me to these places, and that's how I'm kind of here now.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, I guess growing up, did the usual high school sort of thing. I grew up with actually something I've been exploring since we went over here is my family is British, and my great grandmother had come over from England in like maybe about 1920, and so I grew up with these very British grannies. So I've been living some of my 10-year-old boy fantasies over here with visiting Buckingham Palace and some of these things. We went out to this little community in Norwich where there's a war monument to my great uncle who was killed, and so just kind of those themes or legends from my childhood. But so I grew up with these very British little old ladies, and I was a little gay boy, so there's like lots of crocheting and lots of knitting and lots of real family, and that kind of
being crafty.
Being very crafty. So I was always kind of artistic, and started hairdressing right out of high school and spent about 10 years working in hair salons. And put myself through university, through engineering school, actually working in hair salons.
Wow.
So that was the career that I just left when I started working with Jimbo full time, was my engineering job, my day job.
Wow.
So sort of the things that have kind of brought me here would be like the craftiness, the hair. I'm taking care of Jimbo's hair.
He does my hair,
and
we
then
worked together a lot when we first met. I was working a lot in production design, making sets and props and costumes for theater and film, and needed a lot of help. It's always low budget back then. Everything on a shoestring, and so I really be a lot for his time and energy.
We made a lot of stuff
making
together,
all kinds of things and making
lots
things happen. And we've toured art projects together and gone to Burning Man together.
We took to Burning Man a 32-foot wide, 16-foot tall rainbow that's made out of aluminum and steel. Lit with RGB LED lighting. That's sound reactive and really cool.
That's right. I remember seeing that. That was amazing to see that.
You think you want to go? Is Burning Man happening still again since COVID or post-COVID?
Renegade group that went back out into the desert last year and took it really back to its grassroots, which it was a renegade sort of festival in the desert. Because of the COVID protocols and everything, the org wasn't able to do the thing like how they have.
Right.
So I think it's an interesting question afoot in the community now of why do we need that bigger organization and to pay all that money when we just did the thing that was the OG thing.
Totally.
small, but
it was
yeah.
But
yeah,
so
we would
small.
love to go back. I love Brain Man. It's such an incredible display of art and ingenuity, and really cool people meeting from around the world with a similar mindset for that time. So it's just a really cool celebration, really unique, and I'd love to go back.
Yeah, definitely.
I've never been. I've heard, I've no friends that have gone, and just like, oh my God. But you're right. Just the talent is just mind blowing. Just seeing what people put together.
Yeah, it is mind blowing, because you're like, wow, like who would have ever thought about that? And you see it, yeah, like just the most mind blowing things.
Yeah.
And then people too that put, just hundreds of thousands of dollars into these art projects too, like just crazy amounts of money. And they're so beautiful, so cool, and just wild. Really wild.
Absolutely.
But I can imagine as well, though, because you're talking about engineering, you're talking about costume design and hair. Do you find that your engineering background really lends a hand into the artistry of everything, all the creations and productions that you are now doing over the last several years? Do you find that you have a lot of skills and natural abilities that maybe might have been less refined had you not been through an engineering background?
Yeah, in terms of like thought process, and having a plan, like, I always need a very solid plan and a clear direction. And I think, in terms of organization too, and learning how to learn. We always said that in engineering school, whatever about the calculus, whatever about the partial differential equations, it's learning how to learn something. And I think that's probably the biggest thing I came away from university with, was being able to sit down and figure things out, not being like, oh, I could never, now it's like, oh, maybe how does this work? Like, how to on how to make this go. And also, I think in terms of organization too, I tend to be fairly organized, and I tend to be fairly
the organized one. I'm like
fairly
the wild thinker. I like to think in practically, like to be the
Yes. I was joking. I'm like, I'm kind of holding his feet from down here on the ground.
Right.
Wow, so I'll just kind of hang on,
Yeah, he's good at keeping, track of things. Where are we? Where do we have to go? All that stuff. I'm so
what
grateful.
day is it?
Yeah, what day
Except
is
for I don't
it?
know what day it
What's
is.
going on?
Yeah.
Where would you be without him then?
I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
You'd be in outer space in the best way possible. Your breasts would lift you up, and you'd have all the helium and all the oxygen fulfillment you need. No tanks needed at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be an amazing, what would you call that? It's making an amazing shtick or something. Could you imagine that? Like if you could somehow get lifted up, like your breasts were full of helium, like hot air balloons. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, and the hot air balloon is actually like the biggest tit that you've ever worn, and it'd be just like, I'm queen of the world. It's like, actually, I'm queen of outer space, queen of the galaxy, motherfucker.
Don't give him any ideas.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh my God.
I know, we're already trying to figure out ways to make the breasts even bigger. Yeah. How could they possibly be bigger?
Yoga balls.
I told someone on Instagram too.
Literally.
We're like, what are those filled with? And I was like, love. I was like, it's like a feedback loop. The more that you love them, the better they get.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was, I'm sure, like I'm sure you've been asked this a million times. Now we're getting to like off tangent from your humble beginnings, because I want to ask Jimbo the same question. How heavy are they? I mean, I'm sure you've had that question a million times, but how heavy are they? Heavy? Do they hurt your back?
Each set is a different weight, but the biggest ones that I just have started wearing, because they're just like so ridiculously huge, are 35 pounds.
That's a lot. That's heavy.
Crap.
It's very heavy. Yeah, it's hard on my back, on my shoulders, and my neck.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Actually, Jimbo lives a fairly sedentary lifestyle until for some reason, when he straps on those tips, he straps on those the shoes, it's like time to climb all over the venue. Doing squats,
doing chin-ups, I'm doing push-ups.
Yeah, the crowd loves it too. Usually part of the way through one of his performances, he'll find something to climb up on or hang off of.
Yes.
Off of, and everybody goes like mental. It's like, what the hell is this? They're standing on my table, like, or a little shelf, or
some little ledge here,
and it's terrifying for me from the back too,
right.
For me too.
Like, it's got the nails, you got the hair, you can't really see, you're not proportioned the way that you're using, and now you're climbing that thing. It's like, okay,
now you're on
that's great. And I'm always like,
I'm very nimble.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes. Well, for sure. And, I think that's actually a great segue, is also kind of the development of both of your careers, because both of you have very complementary and very distinguished careers in your own rights. But I'm curious to know, doesn't matter if one of you wants to speak first, but kind of how did that development of Jimbo's brand in conjunction, Brady, with your background and complementary skill set, how did that kind of come about before people knew who Jimbo was on a global scale, and also all of that stuff before Drag Race? What was that kind of
No.
what was the inception?
Sorry.
What?
You froze for like 2 seconds. I'm like,
We're like,
no.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh, okay. Yes.
It was only the last like maybe not even 5 seconds.
So yeah, just the inception period, I suppose. What was the kind of the gestation period of how Jimbo you became a drag performer? Yeah, exactly. Because I know there's probably many different avenues.
I think we always knew Jimbo was going to be a star. I think anybody who knows Jimbo and knew Jimbo before would say, "Oh yeah, that's true. Jimbo is going to be famous no matter what." And so it was just really what avenue. So I think I think it was. Well, I always like to say Jimbo is a visionary, and I'm a hard worker, and so I think I always have loved him very much, and have been kind of willing to support whatever crazy he's brought home. Sometimes usually I'm much better now. Usually always said no first. I'd be like, I'm not really sure about that. I'm not
yeah,
really
you're
sure.
Always very practical.
Very practical. I'm like, but looking back, a lot of those things that I said no to, I'm so glad that they're kind of the fabric of the history of our relationship too, right? Like, so I think I've always sort of trusted him to lead the charge, and I think this is something I've said to him too. Like, I'm not sure. Sometimes maybe the answer is not no right away. It's like not yes, but it's like, okay, well, I trust you because we've had this body of experience, and we've been down these roads that are a little bit scary sometimes and a little bit expensive. And but it worked out. And like I said, I'm happy that they're part of our history now too. These things we've done, and they sort of make up. Yeah. Like this tapestry of our life.
Love it.
Thinking about the liquidating that store, that was one of the ones where we lived above the store that was called the Never Ending Store in Chinatown, where they had lost their lease and they needed to move out. And this guy was trying to sell desperately, but not so effectively, all of the things that were in it, and it was packed with shit.
Right.
So they, Jimbo says, this guy's giving us the store. Like, if we can get everything out of there in 3 days, we can have it. And I'm like, we can't do that. There's no way. But
basically liquidating an entire store in its warehouse that had been in business for like 40 years.
Yeah. In a
like a Chinatown distributor. So it was really intense. It was really fun. It was a dream come true.
Yeah.
You did it. You actually did it.
Yeah, and then he talked me into it. And then I was so glad that we did it. And I looked back and I was like,
basically just opened it up and said, come and take as much as you can, and got people were just like crazy, carloads of teapots and cups,
nail brushes, nail clippers. It was wild, but we did it. We literally did empty that place, shut the door, like basically right on schedule.
Okay, this sounds like a decent segue into House of Jimbo. So first of all, when I think of where you live, Jimbo, for some reason, I think of Pee-wee's Playhouse. And that's what comes to mind. I know that you're definitely influenced by Pee-wee. I've heard this before. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, because I was even seeing a Brady yesterday on our little text chat back and forth. I'm a huge Pee-wee fan. Like, I actually had tickets to see, I'm a Paul Rubens and Pee-wee fan. Like, they're all the same. Anyway, I actually had tickets to see him open in Vancouver for a comedy festival. And I got it as a Christmas gift, and I was so blown away. And he was sick. And so I didn't get to see him. So anyway, I'm like a massive fan. What is that influence, and how does it reflect Jimbo, or even your way of life? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, I think just like living with a sense of play in your space, and living sort of unusually, like I like to surround myself with beautiful things and sparkly things and a lot of things. And so I think I've really tried to immerse myself in art and texture and color, and I'm a little bit of a crow. I love shiny things. I'm also a collector. I also have some OCD, and so I have basically in our place in Chinatown slowly amassed this massive collection of art and props and wigs and costumes, and Brady is a lover of beautiful things and treasures, and so we both have slowly built up this collection that we love to display, and it's really kind of about just living immersed in the things that we love. And so it's a really inspiring space, and it's a really cool space that people love to come in and just sort of like say like, wow, like you guys live like this, you live surrounded in this chaos and this sort of, it's basically just a huge project of places to work and things to do and things to organize and collections and our cats and so it's always a work in progress. And the show House of Jimbo is basically a show based around my characters and clown work and some of our incredible community of artists, and would take place within the studio because it kind of has that magical feeling. It's also really sprawling and this old historical building in Chinatown, and it's an old gambling den, so it has these really cool nooks and has a secret passage in the back, and it has it's like over 100-year-old building that's still authentic to when it was first made. So it's got this incredible energy and history, and it's filled with this sort of sense of wonder. And so it's a very just a unique and inspiring place that's very sort of playful and filled with art and spirit.
That is so cool. Now, is that ready to launch soon? Because I know it's kind of like a, is that going to be something that you're? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
We had done this original Kickstarter fund campaign, and we had raised about 20 grand that we've put aside as our little nest egg. And now we are looking at this point at how to best work with that money. And originally we were like, okay, we'll do our own little indie thing. We'll put some money and we'll film some stuff, some content at the house with our own means. And then I realized that was sort of not the best use of the whole shebang, and really the best thing to do is to partner with some larger distributors and have access to bigger pools of funding, and to take that nest egg and that public interest and say, this is what we've done, now let's partner with some national funding or some international broadcasting funding to next level the whole production. And so over the past months and this past year, I've been working with some friends and working on pitching and getting a pitch package together, and working on getting some bigger funding and developing it. And so I have some more meetings next week actually with some really cool people, and we're just always working on it and trying to figure out what's the best way to make this happen, and how do we make it to the vision. So
how do we do right by the idea too? That's what Jimbo said, we could have done the thing, but then a couple of friends pointed out, it was like, we might be under sort of doing
valuing, or
it might be underwhelming or not, so it needs to be sort of fully
just like a little bit. We want to put the right amount of time and dedication into making it proper. So
because then right? Because then it's like
so it's still in development.
Still in development.
Okay, awesome. Because I looked at your website a few times. I'm like, is there more news? No, not yet. That's exciting though.
Yeah, really exciting. We had some interest from some really cool broadcasters and some really big things. And so now with UK versus the world, that was sort of took over, and that was really the main center of my focus for a while. And now being on the road, that's really also the main center of focus for the next little bit. But still working on developing it. And now that the world is starting to open up and people can travel, and we can start to really kind of work outside of the restrictions of COVID, which everyone got really used to, like doing things over, these internet Zoom things. And it's really hard as artists and performers to work this way. It's great for podcasts and great for these interviews long distance, but in terms of developing a project or developing a show with performers, it was really, really difficult. So we're hoping that as the world is opening back up again, that we can start doing all these things that we want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be only the timing and the gestation period, in a sense, that time to be slow and measured, and you can take the privilege to do that correctly. That's really going to help catapult your brand to where it already is right now. But you can also have the buffer in some ways of your drag race career to build those relationships with other people in different countries and different communities, and also for them to get to know you and the other passions and projects that are who you are outside of drag race. Because I think with reality competitions and shows, which I'm a huge fan of since I was out of the womb, legitimately, these moments on camera can sometimes become just what you're known for, what people might pigeonhole you for.
And if people want that, that's fine. But there's a human behind the story of where they came from and how they got to where they are. So I think it's really interesting and fantastic that you've been able to take that in the last couple of years, I would say 2.5, 3 years, and say, no, I'm more than just someone on TV, but I can use this and I can take that to where I want to be in the big picture. It's helped give you that visibility to have those connections, to have those relationships, and a universal community to help the two of you really live the life that you want to live for yourself. So I think that's also a really key point.
Yeah,
me too. Yeah, we feel really lucky.
Oh yeah, so grateful. Yeah, we've just been having the best time too. It's been meeting, folks like yourself, or any of these towns that we've been into. Everybody's so kind and so sweet and so excited, and
yeah,
so it's so easy to make all these lovely connections. And we were in Newcastle, we dropped right, and we got in there that night, and they're like, well, you have to come to our friend's show. We're like, okay, yeah, we pop in. It's the finale of their drag idol. So for weeks they've been battling it out on the stage, all these girls, to win this crown, and we dropped into the finale, literally sat down. The show started as we sat down, and we got to, and they're like, this is the best possible night for you to be here. The whole town is out in their finery. Everybody's, it's been COVID, so this is the first time they've done it in 2 years.
That was awesome.
Yeah, so
such good energy. Good energy. I'm curious to know, because I'm like, are you both? I feel like Jimbo's an extrovert. It's kind of like a no-brainer, perhaps. But
I think the
no.
opposite.
Okay, you think the opposite?
I think the opposite.
Okay. Now are we like, okay? Are we guessing here? How would you label? I mean, labels, schmabels, whatever. But would you label yourself an introvert or an extrovert? Either of you, or do you complement each other in that way?
I think we're both extroverted, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. We're both like, we're out there in the world, we're meeting lots of people, there's a lot of attention and a lot of energy that goes out in terms of being on and meeting people and sharing with people and welcoming people and everything. So I think definitely we are extroverts. And I think like with any extrovert, there is that time to charge up where you kind of be introverted, and so I think that we're a combination of the both, where you have to sort of relax and stay in. And although many times we'd love to be out and go out and party after the shows, we kind of just go home and get ready for the next day.
It's like, because they're we're getting picked up early for the flight or the train, and there's the 5 giant bags that need to be repacked and sorted, and the costumes need to be hung up. But we do also, like, last night we did all the jobs, and then we went out and strolled around in the town and talked to all the dolls last night, made some new friends. Yeah, I got a bite to eat.
Oh, that's awesome. Because when I see a lot of your stuff on social, I'm like, holy crap, like I don't have the energy.
Yeah.
And not only that, but even the self-confidence that you have, Jimbo, is like, for myself, is very inspiring. Just the self-confidence, seriously, like even just when you're not even on stage, but I saw a video of you on your cruise, and you were like, giving everyone lap dances around the pool, and in your scantily clad bikini. But I'm just like, come on, like I wish I had that confidence, and then riding around as, I think you were Joan Rivers in someone's wheelchair, like it's
the mobility scooter.
Yeah, right. Like it's not only is it entertaining, but it's inspiring with your confidence. And
I hear you. He told me a long time ago, and it's really stuck with me. He says, everybody wants to see you do well. Everybody wants to see you have a good time. Everybody wants to see you succeed at what you're doing, whether you're on the stage or just asking for direct. We want to see you do well. We don't want to see you be small and make you. We want to see you be big and poised. And,
right.
And that always sticks with me. I always think, oh yeah, this is how I want to be seen too. I want to be seen as doing well and confident, and
and a lot of it just comes from having fun. So
also that,
it's mostly, that's the root, is just in play and just in having fun, and try not to take myself or anything too seriously.
Right.
And, just roll with, be goofy, make people laugh.
Yeah.
And, that moment on the cruise, I always wanted to do something like that, like put on a song and emerge and then like dance around.
Yeah.
So good.
Like kind of moment.
Yeah.
It felt really fun. You know, I would have loved for some like fountains to be like timed with my
Yeah.
or everyone to start dancing with me, like a flash mob. But
Yes.
That was so fun.
it was funny, and only I think 2 or 3 people asked for a refund.
They
on their
were,
cruise,
yeah, there was
so.
a there
Oh,
was a
come on.
yeah, but the children. And it was funny too, because the Instagram comments too were like, you know, this is all hilarious, but the children at the pool, like it's.
Oh, I didn't even. See, I didn't even
Yeah.
notice them because I was
No.
just so focused on you. But yeah, okay, interesting.
Yeah, fair enough. And that cruise, if I'm not, this is coming out of left field. Was that the cruise you won when you were on Drag Race season 1?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay. So Rach, there was a Challenger Jimbo won, and the
Yes.
Challenger Jimbo won. That was the prize they gave. So when I put the
Yes.
two together,
Yeah,
I was like,
that's-
oh yeah, that's the cruise.
That was our friend Francis and
Oh,
Matt,
too funny.
Barracuda and Pitbull events that put on that cruise. Yeah, and that was Jimbo's prize. And
Yeah.
we were down there with about 200 bears and queens. It was a bears and queens cruise. Yeah, but about 200 bears and queens and all these guys that go cruising around the Caribbean every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's incredible.
they are still talking about that moment to this day. That's still popping up in my news feed here and there where someone shares a picture and they're like, I miss this day. I want this day back again. Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, they'll be talking about it for years. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Something that I wrote down because I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned about, you know, just you're just, you want to have fun and that's what you do. But you said, I'm going to quote you, Jimbo. You said something like, art is not meant to be comfortable.
Right.
So what does that mean?
Well, I think art is just about life and experience, and life and experience aren't comfortable. And art is about how do we process our experience and how do we share our experience in the world. And so clowning is all about embracing the commonality in our human experience and our human condition. And it's about sort of having all the feelings and giving space for all of the feelings and sharing them. And so I love that about clowning. It can be dark, it can be sad, it can be awkward, it can be beautiful, it can be happy, it can be everything, and it can be everything one after the next. You know, very much like emotions as a child, where children can be like laughing, all of a sudden they're crying, and all of a sudden they're exhausted, and all of a sudden they have energy. And I love that all of those feelings are accessible to all of us, and that art is about evoking all those feelings, about different things, different people. And so art not being comfortable is just really about accepting that art is about life, and it's about expression, and it's about all sides of being human. And I love that about it.
That's
Well
amazing.
said.
And in just in a little bit of a kind of a Coles Notes kind of idea, like how did you end up in clownery and that kind of way of self-expression? Was that from a very early age, or from being in drama in high school, or how did you end up in that community, I guess is a good way to ask that.
Yeah, I got into clowning through my clown teacher and director, Britt Small, through a company I work with in Victoria called Atomic Vaudeville. And I started. My friend Britt, who's also director, sort of saw me as this really creative, funny person and really encouraged me to be on stage. I had like very low self-esteem and very low confidence. I've been really teased pretty heavily throughout my high school times, and really shamed about the things that I liked, and shamed about things being too girly, or things being too feminine, or things being gay. And so I was really able to, through theater, access all those things which I found joy in, and was able to re-look at how I felt about all those things, and take all of that shame and take all of that bad feelings I had around expression and the things that I naturally gravitated towards, and shift those, and to really celebrate them and celebrate those things about myself. And vaudeville and acting and performance that really gave me that access to understanding performance, and clowning was the sort of culmination of all of that, where I understood my own understanding with performance and clowning. And I love improv. I love being truthful in the moment. I'm a procrastinator and I don't like repeating myself, so rehearsals are not my favorite process. That's all about schedule and repetition, and clowning is about throwing out all the rules and do whatever the hell you want in the moment. And that's really spoke a lot to me. And so when I discovered clown and I understood that as a mode of performance, that just really spoke to me. And my clown teacher, Britt Small, gave me some workshops in Lecoq method, which is a Canadian clowning teacher, and was her teachers. So she also taught me a little bit of Buffon clowning, which is Casper, and the clowning I did on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Right.
Buffon clown. And so there's this incredible history with clowning that goes back, medieval times and even further back into Native history. Where the clown is sort of up there with the priest and with this sort of cultural figure, and was given this special pass to look at society and to look at culture and to look at to look at what was happening in the world, and to sort of be a mirror for culture and society, to look at things and to laugh at things with this sort of hall pass of comedy.
Right.
That is so well said. Is that kind of like the court jester? Is that along the same lines of?
Yeah, that was like the court jester. And
yeah.
Like the only person that was really allowed to sort of make fun of the royal family or make fun of politicians and people with high status. It was that sort of common ground where everyone could look at what was happening and comment through satire, and without being killed in those times, we're having a voice like that.
Right.
Incredible. And you mentioned a couple of things in terms of self-esteem, in terms of being bullied, in terms of just how you authentically were. And I think everybody can relate to that, especially people that might be different, especially myself being queer and neurodivergent, all that stuff. So I get that. And very outspoken. For both of you though, can you think of any times in your life where you might have lived or continue to live with elements of mental health, and also because of the generations and the places you might have been brought up, what was your sexuality and gender expression like when you were growing up? Was it celebrated? Did you come out, or did you always know how you identified and that's how you were? I'm curious to learn a little bit about that as well.
What about you, B?
Well, yeah, growing up, I mean, I've just turned 50, so I came out when I was 19. It was 19.
Come on, man. No.
Yeah. So, but it was 1989 when I came out. So, the world was much different. So growing up as kind of an effeminate kid, like I mentioned, with these little English grannies knitting and crocheting, art projects, it was not celebrated. It was, it was tolerated, but not celebrated. Yeah. And when I came out, I remember, I worked at Safeway at the time, this grocery store, and these older women saying, are you sure? Like, I don't see it. And it's like, not celebrated. In fact, encouraged to hide it. My mom, her initial reaction was like, okay, that's how that is, but I don't want to hear anything about it. And it was just, so yeah, definitely not how it would be now, where these kids, are celebrated and encouraged to be themselves from such a young age. So definitely, lacked a lot of confidence. It took me, I think, a long time. That's one of the best things about actually having just turned 50 is I think, it's not hung up on these ideals of, being 25 or being 20. And this, it's like, people say that, the 50s are the best year yet. And I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. Because the confidence is here, know who I am more than ever before. I've removed a lot of the duplicity out of my life, working an engineering job and then working a creative job with Jimbo, or we've recently in the last 2 years, we expanded the studio at Chinatown, so the kids live with us at Chinatown now. So not maintaining separate houses and separate lives and separate.
Right.
So that's gone a long way to my inner peace. Definitely is, I'm living a pretty much a single stream these days.
Yeah. Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I didn't. Unfortunately, we had caught. We went on this tour last fall or later last fall, right before Christmas, and the very last stop in Vancouver, we got COVID, and so we were COVID for Christmas and for my birthday, and it was a real bummer. We were look at how we were through Mexico. We were in Florida.
Wow.
We were in Memphis. We were in Arkansas. We were in Calgary, and then like that very last show. Got it. Yeah.
Was it in Vancouver that you got it? Two?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, right
What?
right before we came home from
We're
that
at the
tour.
end.
Fuck.
Oh my gosh.
That sucks. That's not the best timing.
Of course, it's always that, you're in that green room and, you hear that person coughing and they're like, my roommate's not feeling well, but they've tested negative for COVID. It's like, but you're still sick. Like, it's like,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh boy. Oh my gosh. And on to you, Jimbo.
Yeah, well, for me, I would say, growing up, I definitely didn't have a lot of positive gay role models, and
Mhm.
in media and in my life, there was just not a lot of them. My mom had a few gay friends through AA. My mom was a recovered alcoholic now, or I think actually her birthday is today. We have to call her. I think it's her. Yeah, she's like sober.
No, it's May. It's May.
Oh no, it's in May. It's March.
It's May.
No, but she's like over 30 years sober, and
Wow.
yeah, so she has had some gay
That's
friends.
amazing.
She's always been really sex positive, and she had some gay friends, and she's like, do you think you're gay like Todd or whatever? I'm like, no, mom, or whatever. And then my dad gave us some really weird sex talk about gays and AIDS, and how unhealthy it is to be gay, and I have to make a choice like he made. Like, very weird, veiled, confusing conversation that we never really resolved, but it was all not a lot of sex positivity around gayness, and I didn't really understand my own sexuality for a long time. And it wasn't until I fell in love with Hank, the partner I moved out west for, that was when I really understood that I was gay and understood those feelings. And prior to that, I had some really amazing girlfriends and some beautiful connections with some incredible women that I still am friends with. And at that time, I just really didn't understand who I was, and I didn't really understand love. And it kind of all clicked once I fell in love. I was like, oh, okay, I understand now what's up, and I understand these feelings, and I understand, it just all made sense. And so I came out when I was about 25, and my community and everyone just kind of was like, okay, like a lot of people said that they had already known, and that they had a feeling, and most everyone just said, okay, well, that's how it is, and great. So I didn't really encounter a lot of negativity or weirdness or anything like that. It was mostly a lot of support, and people just saying like, glad that you feel comfortable enough to be who you are. And a lot of that came because my dad was quite abusive and overbearing and did not want us to be gay. And so it was I was free of him that I was able to live my life.
Yeah, that's, it's so interesting. It's almost like, because I think Jimbo, you and I are around the same age. 25. No, just kidding. Just kidding. 25. I'm 39. I just turned 39.
Yeah, that's my same age.
Yeah. So I just feel like we all of us kind of like almost just skipped that. We're just before the generation where it's like, you're out in high school. Yes. Awesome. Yeah. Like, let's, because one of my best friends in high school was gay, and I kind of had an inkling, but I was almost feeling the need to to support him, to saying that he wasn't gay against bullies, but I knew he was. Like, it was just such a fucked up time, really. But these hopefully these kids, like your kids at their age, that
it's really interesting, because you can see
so woke now.
They're so
yeah.
In terms of like with bullying too, watching them come up, there's very low tolerance for bullying. Like, we cracked a joke about some friend's name once, and my daughter was horrified. She said, "Poppy, you can't speak like that. You can't do that." And I was like, okay, well, I was trying to be funny, and she's like, no, like, that's not funny. And it was like, oh, okay, like,
wow.
Very, very low tolerance for that kind of thing, and then they're open to it too, because they are growing up with Cassandra having two dads, or Zach having two moms, and that's a lot more normalized, I think, in the system.
It is. Yeah.
Absolutely. Before, because we want to wrap and respect your time and everything, Brady, you also have some things that you're working on as well in your own brand and your own career, and I would love to hear a little bit more about those things and know how those things are going for you and what's coming up
Yeah,
for you
it's
too.
an ever-changing thing for me for sure, as I try to find my footing in it all, not just being the man behind the clown and
Right.
just my giant Barbie and trotting her all around.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're working. Jimbo and I are working together on the House of Jimbo, the merch. I'm mostly take care of that end of stuff, and been working on a clothing line. You may have seen the print that Jimbo collaborated on Cat Dirty with, where we've done the bomber jackets, and we've just got the tracksuits have just been delivered this week. Yeah, and we're steadily working away. Yeah, they're at home. Yeah, and steadily working away on developing the merch and getting ready for DragCon. That's another big thing that's on my plate right now. Who knows how many thousands of fans, and
That's gonna be so fun.
yeah, so working on the booth design and working on that.
Right.
Yeah, in terms of the house too, raising the kids, and I mentioned we expanded the studio, so we're still renovating, parts of that. So I'm working on those types of things when I'm home, and just generally trying to keep organized and keep on top of everything. Trying to stay one step ahead of Jimbo, which is very hard, very, very hard. Very, very hard.
Yes. And you also,
my thing is undefined. I did panic a little bit for a second there. I was like, oh God, my career, but it's like right now I'm building relationships and meeting people all over the world, and working on content. That's another thing I've been really trying to work on, my video editing and my filming, my cinematography skills. Editing, and so always trying to find a little moment to capture Jimbo, and trying to find things that inspire me too. Like I kind of got on this thing this week where when you take like 10,000 selfies and your camera roll is like a grid, and I've been kind of like distributing them and kind of taking these little sort of like almost like Warhol-esque kind of little portraits, like 6s or 9s of photos, and them, and it's kind of inspired by that. Yeah, one of the queens last night, she said, that's a major stirred, and I was like, oh, tell me more. Yeah, so working on my skills.
Love it.
We'll go. I like to produce. We love to throw events. We produced a 200-person event for Jimbo's birthday last November. That was
holy crap.
And that special little secret moment when COVID kind of was like, oh, things are looking better, and right before Omicron came, there was that little bit of time
window.
We did that party, which was.
But this year's gonna be extra special. Blah, blah, blah. Next year, excuse me. Next year would be extra special.
Yeah, no.
My sister also has just turned 50 too, so we're cooking up something. We'll do something. Yeah. And of course, every year we have to do something even better than the year before. So
that's so awesome.
Yeah. So like my I don't. It'd be hard to say I'm like one thing or another. I think I wear a lot of different hats, and then that's, like I said, just constantly evolving and developing, and I'm loving, like I said, meeting all the people too, and the more connected I get, the more powerful I feel.
Yes.
I have a good memory too, so I think, that's that person that we met when we were in Cardiff at that nightclub. That's that guy who's that photographer, and his Instagram, and get back to that moment.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Jimbo, do you need to stretch? I feel like, are you?
My huge fits. I'm always like adjusting my back.
I can tell. Well, we both
on this little table too. There's only one chair in this hotel.
And we were traveling on the train all day. But yeah, I have you saw in UK versus the World, I have a neck, shoulder reoccurring injury thing that I deal with every day. So I always kind of like adjusting and moving my spine and my shoulders going. But yeah, I need to start doing yoga.
We're both yoga teachers, which is why
Yeah, that's right.
Which is why I was like,
which is why they're noticing the
Yeah.
I know that's one of the things we've talked about too, is how to factor in that type of thing with the schedule, because it's like like it's easy to say, oh, go to the gym, but then you're on the road more than you're not, and so how do you
totally
or like running, some sort of stretching or something that's a practice that you can keep with you, that you're not relying.
We'll hook you up. We have some resources we can share with you.
5-pound tits on.
Yes, that would be quite the workout.
Oh my God, I could just imagine, because I have like nothing up here. I could just imagine wearing yours and just tipping right over, like not even for seconds. I just wouldn't even stand.
It's also very hard to get close to him when you're, we're like laughing at these selfies where I'd like to get closer to you, and then we sort of end up arranging ourselves, and you can't get close. It's not possible.
Oh my gosh.
So there's social distancing.
I love it.
we're gonna let you go because I know you've had a very long day.
Yeah, we're gonna go get some.
You guys
food
go,
and
then
Well,
rest.
nice chatting with you guys. I'm so glad we finally got to connect.
Yeah.
Really glad
Me too.
very much, and look forward to seeing all the continued success and keeping in touch with both of you. Thank you so much for making this happen.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk soon. Bye. Have a
We'll
good
talk to you
night.
later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.